Welcome to O Brothers RC. In this video, I'm going to go over what I think is the best setup for this Injora 1/24 scale rock buggy. So let's jump over to the garage, get this thing set up the right way, then we'll take it out to the course for a run. After that, we'll come right back here and we'll discuss what I've already done to the buggy and what we did today and how it improved the capability. So when I first built this little buggy, I wasn't sure how much money I wanted to spend on it. And I wasn't sure if I was going to like it a lot, but I actually do. So what I want to do is make it more capable now. So to do that, I'm going to reverse spring the shocks. I'm going to change out the ESC to an scx24 version 2. That should really increase the slow crawl capability. Also, I'm going to shorten the links in the front with some deadbolt links. I'm going to leave the links in the back the same. These are for the C10, and I like the length of these. I don't want to put the wheels out any farther in the back. Everything else I think is functioning fine. So I just want to do those three things. I think that's going to really increase the capability of this little crawler. One of the reasons I want to reverse spring the shocks is because this thing sits way too high. I want to bring the ride height down to there. To do that, I'm going to clip the spring and I'm going to capture them here on the spring retainer and make it to where they are held in the compressed position. I've done that on my Gladiator here and it works fantastic. I've also done it on this low CG build I did of the K10. These are two of my most capable crawlers. This little K10 is like a lizard. It can climb over darn near anything. It just drags itself along. And its ride height is very low. You can see how the springs fall down when it needs to go over something. The Jeep has double barrel shocks and its suspension can travel really far. But once again, its ride height is very low. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that to the capra here. Okay, the buggy's broken down. Now I can add these shorter links. I'm also going to add this little steel drive line here to the front of the buggy. I'm gonna go ahead and put in these brass differential covers as well. Let's start by capturing these springs. So what you want to do to get this done is you want to find the end of your spring here and you want to lift it over the top of your adjuster, right over the top of it to where it will hold when you pull down on the spring. Then you want to do the same to the bottom. So when I do the bottom, I want to take out as many coils as I need to get the shock to be almost fully compressed. The weight of the vehicle will compress the shock the rest of the way, and you don't want to take out too many coils or your shock won't be able to expand out as much as you need it to. So in this case, I'm going to remove 1, 2, 3 coils. Then I just come in with my clippers and I clip those 3 springs off. Now I'll take a pair of pliers and just smash the spring around the bottom of the shock mount here, and that retains it. I usually go ahead and add just a little dab of E600 right on top of the end of that spring, and that will make sure it doesn't come loose. And that's how you reverse spring your shocks. Okay, I've got all 4 shocks reverse sprung now. Dab glue on each one, they're ready to go. Next, I'm gonna install these differential covers. And there we have it, new diff covers installed on the sweet portal axles. Links to these portal axles are in the description. They're about half price of every other option I've seen, and these have worked out really well. I haven't had any binding or any problems with them. And for the price, I cannot complain. Really like them. The link's in the description if you want to get yourself some. I want to keep this battery in here. It adds a good amount of weight to the front of the truck. It's also just the right size and shape to fit in there right up in the front here, giving me a good weight bias. I really like it. But to keep it, I'm going to have to modify the plug. So I'm going to show you how to do that here. You just take a piece of shrink tube and you put it over one side of whatever connection you're trying to make. Then you go ahead and twist your connection together. Go ahead and bend your connection down to one side and slip your shrink tube right over the top of it. Now you just hit it with a lighter and you're locked down and good to go. I installed both rubber O-rings on the part that connects to the chassis, but I only install one rubber O-ring on the part that connects to the axle. I found that if you put both O-rings on, it limits your articulation, and it kind of makes it tough for the forelink to get its full range of motion. And it's just a tiny bit loose, but I found that the benefit of travel is worth the tiny bit of play that you get. So there we are, all back together. The ride height is definitely better. It's a lot lower. The front has been shortened up. I actually like the way it looks, and it pulls the tires back, which pulls the weight forward here. So this should climb better as well. The shocks drop out nice. All right, let's give it a quick little crawl to check the modulation here. Definitely working better. Much more control. The shocks are dropping out nice. All right. I think this setup's gonna work real nice, but let's get it out on the course and make sure. Okay, I'm gonna start this little guy out on the River Rock section here. Should be a good place to get the articulation moving. Testing out that shock flex. There we go. Looking good. The modulation is working nice. The shocks are flexing real nice. Love it. All right, pretty stoked so far. Everything's working real well. It's got a nice modulation, slow crawl. I like these V2 ESCs. They work really well. Short of getting yourself a brushless system. I found that with a good ESC and a good aftermarket motor, you know, a 66 turn long can or a 50 turn long can, you can get really good performance out of something without having to spend $150 on, you know, a brushless system. Since it's raining, I cut a piece of Lexan for the back there to cover this ESC. Gotta love that wheel speed. That's why I put the 50 turn in here over the 66 turn. The 66 turn, you're going to get a little better slow crawl, but the 50 turns definitely got better wheel speed for getting out of ruts like that one. This little guy is just killing it. Let's see if we can get up this technical part here pretty easy. Everything's soaking wet, so look at that little tiny bit of wheel speed jumped right up that. Everything's soaking wet. It just won't stop raining around here. I feel like I live in Washington. I absolutely hate it. I really don't like the rain. I'm a California kid. I love the sunshine. This is a real steep rock right here. Look at that, man. No problem. Right up it. See if we can get through this technical section here. This thing's got a great turning radius as well. These portal axles that I got on here are fantastic. You know, I think they work really well for 45, 50 bucks, whatever they were. They work fantastic. This thing is definitely super capable. Everything's wet right now and it's just killing everything. So when it's dry, it'll really be easy to get through here. Nice. Take it through this gnarly bit here. Wow, just making short work of pretty much everything. I'll have to write up that I don't spend $1,000 on each rig, but obviously there's no need to. Actually, I can't believe what this thing's climbing over. Little bound up there. Man, this thing is ultra capable. Just like a little lizard. Wow. Let's see if this little guy can make it through this part of this section here. Neither of my TRX4Ms can make it through here, and they're pretty darn capable. They get stuck on this climb right here. They get pinned against the rock on one side. Let's see if this little guy can manage it. Nope. Wow. Little guy made it. All right, it's really starting to come down out here. I'm going to take this thing back inside because although it's mostly waterproof, my camera is not. Man, my fingers are freaking frozen. It's cold out there, wet and rainy. I think everything worked really well, and I do think this is the right setup for this buggy. The things I had done in the previous video, like wrapping the wheels with copper wire to make them heavier and installing the battery up front, definitely improved the capability. Then the things we did today, bringing the wheels back so that the weight of the buggy is over the front wheels more, reverse springing these shocks so that it has a lower ride height, changing out the ESC so that the slow crawl capability is much better, adding the weight of the differential covers and the steel driveline in the front has really improved the capability of this thing. I probably won't do much else to it because I think it performs really well. If you haven't seen the first video I've done on this, go ahead and check that out. It's got some cool upgrades in it, like the copper wrapped wheels. By shortening up the front links, I've also made the wheelbase shorter, which helps keep it from getting high-centered. It's almost as wide as it is long now. I had absolutely zero trouble with it rolling over, and almost zero trouble as well with it rolling backwards. I'm going to put the links to all of the parts that I've used on this truck and the buggy chassis itself in the description if you want to pick up any of those parts for yourself. And you don't have to set yours up like mine. You can do whatever you want. That's the great thing about America. You're free to do it how you want to do it. If you found this video helpful or entertaining at all, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell. And when you think RC, think O Brothers RC. I really appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for watching.